Part B, we have 2 over c squared times d plus 9 over c times d cubed. Are the denominators exactly the same? No. So we need to identify the LCD. To identify the LCD, so I like to write it over on the side here. To identify the LCD, just look at the denominators and look at each kind of base you have. When I say base, I mean the base of each exponent. So you have a c and a d for bases. So look at the c's, look at the factors of c in both denominators. To form the LCD, take the higher power of the c. What's the higher power of the c? C squared. So write that down. C squared. And then, okay, look at the base d in both expressions, in both denominators. And you have a d in the first denominator, a factor of d in the first denominator, a factor of d cubed in the second denominator. And you want to take the higher power. Which one's the higher power? D cubed, and you want to multiply that times the c squared. And you take that product, and that will be the LCD. I'll say it again. The LCD of the denominators is the polynomial of smallest degree that contains every factor of both denominators. So your LCD has to contain c squared d. Your LCD has to contain c d cubed. Let me say that again. Your LCD has to contain this denominator as a factor. Your LCD has to contain this denominator as a factor. It does, right? Okay, now that you've identified the LCD, let's take this first guy. Let's take 2 divided by c squared d, and what could you multiply numerator and denominator by? Okay, you've got to get this to look like c squared d cubed. It's c squared d. Multiply numerator and denominator by the factor or factors that it's missing from the LCD. Let me say that again. Multiply numerator and denominator by the factors that this guy is missing from this guy. So it has a c squared. Is it missing any power of c? No, it has a d. It needs a d cubed. What's it missing? D squared times d makes d cubed, so it's missing d squared. Does that make sense? In other words, it's what you'd have to multiply this guy by to get this guy. That's what it's missing. Okay, so you guys are telling me what to do then. You can multiply on the left or on the right. It doesn't matter. You're telling me to multiply the numerator and denominator of this guy by d squared. It's got to be numerator and denominator so that you're really multiplying by 1 and you don't change the value of anything, right? Is that clear? Okay. Then we're going to take a plus the 9 over c d cubed. And if we look at this denominator, what's it missing? What factor or factors is it missing from the LCD? Well, it's missing, it has a factor of c. It needs to have a factor of c squared. So it's missing a factor of c. So right away, you can multiply numerator and denominator by c. It has a d cubed and it needs a d cubed, so it's good to go there. Okay? So that's the process. Let's do the multiplication. What do we get on top in the first term? Multiply straight across, you get 2d squared. And then you should get the common denominator, c d squared, d times d is c squared, d times d squared is c squared d cubed, which matches the common denominator. And then, what do we get for the second guy? 9 times, multiply straight across, so 9 times c, and then verify c times d cubed times c is equal to c squared d cubed. It is. Verify that when you do the multiplication down here that you do in fact get that common denominator, because if you don't, you did something wrong. You're multiplying by the wrong thing. Okay, so then how do we rewrite it? How do we actually do the addition? So I'll start with the common denominator. We have one common denominator, c squared d cubed, and then what does the numerator look like? That guy plus that guy. 2d squared plus 9c. Now you will come up with results that simplify, but this one doesn't. So, and we can't combine 2d squared and 9c, so we just leave the addition as is. Okay?